gotten out of, because I played with Gabe 97, 98, so 25 years ago. Is there any quirks like when I had him, he didn't eat cheese on his pizza. It's 25 years ago. You're in the minor
Yeah.
leagues and you get pizza and you take the cheese off. And we're like, what's wrong with this guy?
Lactose intolerant, maybe.
No, he just didn't eat
No.
cheese because he had to do his photo shoots with his 12 pack.
Mm.
So is there any quirks in the first couple weeks in spring training you've noticed you didn't know?
AJ, they're all food related, man. I think he's constantly trying new things with his diet. And the one I believe he's done, I want to say for 4 years now. So I can't really say it's like a new thing, but I believe he only eats red meat. The only thing that goes in his body is red meat. He doesn't eat vegetables and eggs. Now he'll put like some avocado on his red meat or whatever, but it's no chicken, no fish. It's red meat. And, he can explain it much better to me, but essentially, yes, your cholesterol gets up there, but if you're a healthy man and you don't have heart issues or underlying family stuff in your history, cholesterol is not that big of a deal, according to him and the research that he's done. So he just hammers red meat. And he's like, I feel great. I'm never bloated. I don't get that hungry. And I just hammer red meat and eggs and I feel great. You know that when he goes out to pull a picture, you're going to hear some hoots and hollers from some girls in the front rows that love the way he looks. And he definitely loves that too. You can tell, he changes his shoes every day. He's on Instagram and biceps are out in the sun and in the outfield. He's unique. There's no other manager like him. And, I think he's good for baseball, man. He brings up our sex appeal for sure. We need it.
Ross, Conforto went deep off Michael Kopech the other day in Chicago, one of the bunch of homers y'all hit, 13 in 3 games. Yeah. Now, there's a video where he was tipping his pitches with his glove. You guys obviously have a guy that looks for that on other teams. Do you guys have a guy that looks for it on your team to show you guys and says, hey, Ross, you're doing something with your glove or your windup or your hands or whatever? Do you guys have that with the Giants also?
Yeah, of course. And I think that's more important than trying to find anybody on the other team that's doing something. Yeah, you might be able to pick up something, and that's a huge advantage for our hitters. But if a pitcher on your team, specifically the Giants, let's say, has a tip, and we don't have anyone that's readily available to address that's looking for that kind of stuff, that's a huge disadvantage for a Major League Baseball team. If any team doesn't have someone looking for that, I'd be shocked. Because as a man that's tipped in a variety of different ways, I used to tip my curveball like this. I'd bite as I'm like coming down the slope. And it's one of those things that you don't even know you're doing, and then you see yourself doing it's clear as day. And once a hitter sees that, man, you guys can hone in on like that, like nobody else. So if we have two, really, I would say 2 guys. One of them is one of our coaches, and one of them is a guy that's back in a dungeon watching video, catching on this stuff. But yeah, it would be detrimental to a team if they didn't have someone like that trying to catch tips, because it's that big of a deal and that big of an advantage.
So you're making me mad now because my White Sox, you guys hit all those homers and you guys didn't tell us until after you left town. So
at least we told you. We could have been telling others. Yeah.
Well, someone else told us. Yeah, if you hit 13 homers in 3 games, you definitely told them. Thanks a lot.
Do you find it like those tips when they tell you those things? And you've played on some teams that I know have people that are looking for those tips. Are you conscious of it? Are you like not conscious of it like, oh, I got to stop that? Like conscious of it like that guy just got a hit. Did I just bite my lip? How does that run through your head?
Yeah, it varies for sure. Like I said, I've tipped in a million different ways. I could stand up and go through my motion and show you the 47 ways I've tipped over the years. It is a constant battle for me. The other day I threw Salvi a pretty good changeup down, and he hits a tying home run late in the game. And one of the first things I thought was like, man, did he know that was coming? Because the catcher went to block it, and Salvi hits a home run. I know he's one of the strongest guys in the game, but as a guy that's tipped, that thought went through my head. It went through my dad's head when I'm talking to him after the game. He's like, man, you think you're tipping? I'm like, no, sometimes you just tip your cap to the hitter. I don't think that I am. But yeah, as someone, like I keep saying, that is tipped, I want to know. I want the coach to come to me and be like, Strip, we got this on you. It might be huge. It might be the tiniest little thing, but tell me about it. There are some guys that are pretty stubborn about it and don't really want to know because of kind of what you're asking, Kratzy, where it can kind of almost do more harm than good. And yeah, it needs to be addressed and you need to fix it, but sometimes it can lead to even worse things mentally or tips another way, or where I'm trying to get player XYZ out and I'm thinking about what I'm doing tipping instead of being a competitor out there on the mound when the lights are on. So it can lead to some bad things, but I've always been open to it, saying you got to tell me, because I got to address it. I'm not a guy that throws 98. If my changeup's coming, it's going to be a rough day for me. So I need to know.
Hey, does Max Muncy know that Mad Bum is not on the Giants anymore? I mean, Jesus, the guy he's hitting balls every which way. The guy is on fire right now. Jesus.
Yeah, I saw the stats coming in. I saw the, some power in there, but not necessarily good average. But that guy just loves hitting at Oracle Field. He has since the start. He told Mad Bum to go get the ball out of the ocean after homering off of him. Classic Max Muncy fashion. And then yesterday goes 2 Oppo homers for a grand slam and a 3-run homer and basically beats us himself. So I'm sure when I get there today, we'll have maybe a new plan against him about something we're going to do to try and keep him in the ballpark. But, the Dodgers, that lineup is really deep. And when Muncy is putting together quality at bats like he can and hitting the ball out of the field and driving the ball like he can, it's an even deeper lineup. So, yeah, it's we got to figure that one out and fast.
Stick him.
Speaking of Muncy Cove.
Stick him, Eric. Tell him to stick him.
No, just throw Muncy a curveball. You know what his numbers are on curveballs. Come on, you know that. That's your old teammate.